that house was crazy. So really excited today. We're taking you home shopping around Atlanta. We are gonna look at 3 homes on the market right now inside the perimeter, and we're gonna see what we get. More than anything else, we're gonna look at the neighborhoods today. I'm gonna tell you the pros and cons of living in these areas, and we're gonna see what kind of value we can get today. All these homes are gonna be between $400,000 to $600,000. They're all single family detached homes, and they're all inside the perimeter. So hopefully, you're in the market, you're looking to move to Atlanta at some point. This is gonna give you a little bit of sense of what the market's looking like, and you hang out with me and look at homes today. So let's go do it. I'm gonna warn you right off the bat, there's a couple limitations, okay? These homes are not gonna blow your mind in terms of value. First limitation is that we can only look at vacant homes, because I'm not gonna post someone's home on the internet who's living there. And 2, there's only so many homes that are for sale right now. We have very low inventory in the Atlanta area, which is similar to many other cities across the country. So don't take this as the 3 best listings in the city right now. These are, more than anything, excuses to talk about the locations. I really like the locations of all 3 of these homes, and so I'm gonna be explaining some of the pros and cons of those locations to you. And of course, I like the homes as well. They have, you know, they are either good value, or I like the aesthetic, I like the character. So there's something I liked about these homes, but just keep in mind, it's a little bit of slim pickings, and things are a little inflated in terms of price right now. So just be forewarned. So the first house we're gonna look at is just inside the perimeter on the east side of town. I really like this location. Not an area you're gonna have to worry about high crime. You're in the perimeter, so access to all the fun things to do in the city are gonna be available to you. North Druid Hills is just to the west. City of Decatur is just to the south. So you're surrounded by great popular neighborhoods. And one thing I can say, having spent time in different locations around Atlanta, it's nice to be on the sides, so to speak. What I mean is, you know, when you're not right in the middle of the city, you can really use 285 to go north or south. So this would be an easy trip to the airport, or an easy trip up to Brookhaven or Buckhead, for example. I'm trying to say you can really avoid the downtown connector more so than you'd be able to do if you lived in more the inner core neighborhoods. So really like this location. There's a little bit more value than you'll typically see in a North Druid Hills or Brookhaven, but just a very convenient, safe location. This is a nice, quiet neighborhood. You're gonna be in town and have a lot of fun things to do. Now keep in mind, it's a Decatur address, but we're not in City of Decatur. City of Decatur is a very small area. A lot of places have a Decatur address, but they're not City of Decatur. They're in unincorporated DeKalb County. So if you are looking for those high quality City of Decatur schools, you do need to keep that in mind. So the first thing I noticed about this house was the exterior. It has great curb appeal. 4 sides brick. These archways I think are really cool looking. This was built in 1969. I'm a sucker for the mid-century aesthetic. So I think this has some nice curb appeal and really looks good from the outside. Let's go check it out. So as we walk through, you'll notice the home has been really well maintained. It has not been updated throughout. So at $580,000, that's definitely going to be something to consider. A lot of people paying this amount of money don't want to buy a project. I really like the tile here. It's a throwback to '69. Coming into the kitchen, it is a smaller kitchen, and you can see the cabinets have not been replaced. The countertops have, the fridge has, but some of these appliances are older. So again, bit of a project, but definitely move-in ready. The other thing I've noticed walking through here is the windows. They're all old. They probably will all need to be replaced at some point in the near future, which replacing a bunch of windows in a house like this can be thousands and thousands of dollars. So you definitely want to consider that. So formal dining with the carpet, which some people don't love. Carpet looks new. In your living area, no overhead lighting, a bit dark in here, but bright in pretty much every other room. Now this is a split level, which some people like, some people don't. Generally speaking, you want to hit, in terms of resale, the broadest, most liked option, but sometimes you just got to buy the house that's available. I don't think there's any issue with split level, except you typically don't see the traditional primary bedroom with ensuite bathroom that people are looking for. Usually very small primary bathroom or none at all. And so you just have to pick a random room for your primary. This room's probably my favorite in the home. You can see, you know, this pitched wall with all the glass, mid-century vibe. This fireplace, really cool looking. So this home has got some character, not your cookie cutter home that we often see in the suburbs. Very bright in this room. Let's go outside and take a look at what we have. So nice private backyard, not too much to maintain. You do want to keep in mind this retaining wall, right? You see all the drainage for when it rains, which is great, but that is another system that you want to make sure is in really good shape, because repairing a retaining wall can be pretty expensive. But you've also got a koi pond here, which can be cool. It's another system as well, right? If you're going to use it, you've got to keep it clean, you know, make sure whatever filter system they have in there is working, or just scrap it all. So can be cool looking, but is another thing that you may have to maintain, and definitely something to consider. Now we're out and about today after a few days of rain, which is actually a perfect time to go look at homes so you can see where water might be pooling up or potentially entering in near the foundation. That's one of the most prevalent things you need to look for when buying a home in the Atlanta area. Luckily, I don't see any water really pooling up here. You can see they have pretty extensive drainage systems in place, but that is definitely something to keep in mind. So anytime you can look at a crawl space, definitely do so. It's going to tell you a lot of information about the home. This one's pretty tight, so I'll spare you looking at my backside as I crawl in there. What I do see is that it's got a vapor barrier in good shape covering the entire crawl space, which is expensive and is really important for keeping moisture low in your crawl space. So from what I can see in the crawl space, I like what I see. So we have a half bath on this level, decent vanity, it's in good shape. Everything here looks really good. Garage, smells like fresh epoxy. So again, really well maintained home. And here you have your laundry area, plenty of space. And I like the location. Let's go check out upstairs. So carpet throughout the upper level, so just keep in mind, you may or may not like that. This is set up as the primary, which, as I was saying before, it's not an expansive primary. And we'll take a look at the bathroom here. Perfectly serviceable, not that big. So if you need your sprawling primary bathroom with separate tub and shower, this may not be the option for you, but certainly a serviceable bathroom. So 4 bedrooms on this level, shared bath. So again, older vanity, older tile, older tub. Looks okay, move-in ready. You might want to be doing a renovation fairly soon after you move in, so just consider that along with the price point. These bedrooms are slightly on the small side, but I've certainly seen much smaller. So these are 3 equally sized bedrooms with small closets. So yeah, so this could work well for a family, but probably for children or not large adults, because these bedrooms are not very large. So people always ask me what these are above our heads here. Attic fan. If you open up all the windows, you get this thing going. This is gonna suck air through the attic fan, and it's gonna create a nice breeze throughout the home without you having to turn on the AC. Because the homes tend to be older, often in the Atlanta area, we see these quite a bit. They're loud, but if they're working, they can actually be a pretty useful tool, especially when it's a little warm, but you don't want to throw on the AC. And very often they're just blocked off and not in use anymore, but those are attic fans, in case you didn't know. So overall, there's a lot to like about this home, in particular the location, which I already told you about. It's got some nice character. I love the exterior. I love that downstairs space with the brick fireplace and the big pitched wall of glass. But at $580, this home still needs a lot of work. So unfortunately, I can't say it's the best value, but this, at the right price, if it sits on the market long enough, could be a great home for someone looking for something with some character and they don't mind a little bit of a project. What do you guys think? All right, so the next house we're gonna look at is in Benteen. This is much more of an inner core neighborhood. It's just south of downtown and just south of the Beltline. Now, Atlanta's growing so much, and a lot of that growth is finally starting to go south. For better or for worse, you know, you see some prices coming up, you see more renovations in these areas, but this is a great neighborhood to look at if you can't quite afford Grant Park, which is very expensive, or a Summer Hill, which is getting very expensive, but you like this side of town, you want to be in town, you want to be near the Beltline. I like Benteen, Boulevard Heights, Custer. This whole area is not talked about as much, but you know, it's typically safe, really close to some high quality amenities, and you're gonna get a little bit better value than the super popular inner core neighborhoods like Grant Park, Reynoldstown, certainly Inman Park. So these aren't as talked about, but I like Benteen, I like these areas. We'll pull up on the map just how close you are to the Beltline. Now, you're probably not gonna walk there, but it's an extremely short drive, and that's important because that's an amenity that puts the city at your fingertips. It's also an amenity that is going to increase the value of your home significantly over time as it is completed and other businesses are developed around it. So we're going to South Atlanta and check out what kind of value we can get there. So the first thing that stood out to me about this home was this big wraparound porch you see out front. You know, classic Southern. We love our porches, hanging out in the warmer months outside. And this one wraps around, it's wide. So this has great curb appeal as well. Looks great from the street. The other thing I notice is a completely detached 2-car garage, which this far in the inner core of the city is a little less common than you'll see in the suburbs. So, you know, if you do need that great storage for your cars, this has it. And just generally speaking, it's got a great look on the exterior, and this is a really nice street. Maybe we'll get some footage of the adjacent homes, but really cute neighborhood, and we're in the heart of the city. So let's go check it out. So we walk in, I notice we have real hardwood floors, which is always nice. We've got dedicated office space on your left and formal dining on the right. I'm a little tired of this layout, if I'm honest. See this quite a bit in the suburbs. Nevertheless, you can make great use of these spaces. You've got a nice open living area. It's fairly bright in here. It's pretty dark outside. It's kind of rainy and dreary out here today. Plenty of space for a living area. There's a half bath over here. The fireplace tile probably isn't my favorite, but that's not a big deal. You know, as I said, we're not seeing the best value today. Okay, this is listed for $599. It's a very large home. I really like the area. But again, this needs some work, right? You can see these finishes are original to when it was built in the early 2000s. Now, totally move-in ready, right? But many people at this price point are gonna want something more dialed in. So you've got just an older aesthetic. I don't think it looks terrible, but the cabinets, you may wanna replace the counter. We got 2 different kinds of countertops. We've got kind of these contrasting colors here. Not a huge fan of these light fixtures. So, you know, I can't say it's totally dialed in. So out here, as I was saying, you know, we're still on this huge wraparound porch, completely detached 2-car garage. It's empty. If you want to use this for another living space and get rental income or an in-law space, you could totally do that. We'll talk about zoning too, but zoning is an important thing to keep in mind, just to know if you have the opportunity for an ADU, because that can affect the value of your property. But little courtyard area here. To me, this is just a big bonus. We've got, you know, access to your garage off the street here. Definitely a nice feature. So simple, half bath closet. Closet space. Let's go check out upstairs. So in the second level, we've got 3 bedrooms. We got your laundry area here, which is a good amount of space. These are decently sized bedrooms, carpeted. Carpet looks new. I like the ceiling height and the size on these bedrooms. Bathroom, again, dated finishes, right? Throwback to the early 2000s, which may or may not bother you. I do like how it Jack and Jill's into this bedroom though. So the person staying here has access. but the bathroom's also accessible for other people on this level. And this is set up as your primary. This is interesting. We've got the stairway to the upper level, the third level, inside the primary. So you kind of control access, and I guess in a sense this could be 2-floor primary suite, although I think a lot of people are going to want to use that as another bedroom or maybe a play area for the kids, I would guess. Carpeted here again, but the carpet looks good. I've got a couple closets, not a ton of closet space, but 2 separate closets. And you know, these finishes may or may not be your taste, not really my taste. Don't really love the tile. We do have a separate shower and tub, which is nice. We've just got older vanities, which is the reality sometimes. But again, totally move-in ready. So, upper level, a lot of work for a small space, I have to be honest. And another flight just for really, you know, the more I look at it, very limited space. The stairwell is right in the middle of this room. And so I guess you could put a bed over here. It's not gonna be a big bed. Most likely this is gonna be a play area for kids, but a lot of work for this area, and your stairway is right in the middle. So I don't know how I feel about this part of the layout. So there you have it. There's a lot to like about this house, in particular, the front porch, the detached garage. You don't really have a dedicated yard space, so keep that in mind if you have young children. Good amount of space, but again, at this price point, a lot of people are gonna want updated finishes. So, you know, I told you we were gonna see the best value today. I really like this area. Again, Beltline is super close. We're talking less than 20 minutes to Midtown Piedmont Park area, 15 minutes to the airport. So this is definitely a location buy, but I would like this a lot better if the price were a bit lower. All right, so the third and final home we're gonna check out today is on the west side, near the Beltline. You've heard me talk about this area a lot. It's one of the fastest growing parts of the city. As the Atlanta Beltline has been developed, businesses have sprouted up around it, and that's really impacted the home values. You get a lot of people moving into these west side neighborhoods, which I think is smart. It's gonna continue to grow. There's a lot of culture, a lot of diversity over here. And in particular, we're going to Ashview Heights. Now, you always hear me talk about Atlanta's very micro, so things change rapidly street to street. So it's important you're working with someone who really knows what's going on at the street level, because Ashview Heights, I love a lot. Some adjacent neighborhoods, I may have some reservations about recommending. So living in a neighborhood like Ashview Heights, first of all, you're gonna have the Beltline right at your fingertips, which puts many other areas of the city right at your fingertips as well. There are a lot of businesses sprouting up in this area, like the Lee and White Retail District, which I talked a lot about. Breweries, retail, restaurants, really popular amenities close by. And again, we're right in the heart of the city, so maybe 15 minutes to Midtown, you know, 10, 15 minutes to Grant Park. The airport's gonna be 20 minutes or less away. You know, Buckhead's not gonna be that far away. So even though you're in an area that's developing a little bit more, and it's not gonna have high quality shopping amenities in that exact location, none of that stuff is gonna be far away. And this will be the lowest price point we're gonna look at today as well. So I think in terms of value, this is probably the best play that we're gonna look at today. And if you're looking at, you know, sub 450, I think an area like Ashview Heights on the west side is one of the best places you could be looking. So right off the bat, a little busier around this home than I was expecting. You never really know till you'll get here. A lot of foot traffic, and we were right across the street from a Zaxby's, which I don't know, maybe a huge selling point or not so much, but there is a distinct smell of grease and fast food out here. So you know, that might be a selling point for you, it might not be. Just goes to show, you know, one of the best things you can do when you're out home shopping, especially if you're not as familiar with the area, is just go drive by it. You might save yourself a lot of time. You might be able to cross it off the list right there, or you might fall in love with the location. So especially if you're getting to know what neighborhood you want to be in before you go set up a tour, can't hurt to just go drive by it. But let's go check out what's inside. So right off the bat, this is going to be the most renovated home that we've seen today at the lowest price point. So that would be the value of being in an up-and-coming gentrifying area. And you know, we see a lot of cheap flips in Atlanta. From what I've seen so far, this looks pretty decent. I like the style that they chose here. You know, you're always gonna go for broad appeal, so you're still gonna see white shaker cabinets a lot, but I like You know, shiplap I'm honestly kind of tired of seeing, but at least they painted this a decent shade of olive green, which I think looks pretty good. You know, this kitchen renovation looks nice. The countertops, the backsplash, stainless steel appliances. Doesn't have a fridge, and don't assume that it's gonna come with one, right? Your seller's disclosure is gonna tell you exactly what they're planning on conveying with the home. So knowing it doesn't have it, if it's not on the disclosure, you may wanna ask for that up front in your initial offer. This is a big, wide open living space, as you can probably hear in the echo on the audio in this video. Really high ceilings, which is cool. You've got an area dedicated that could be your kind of formal dining area. And you could set up your TV here in front of the fireplace. You know, cheaper electronic fireplace. They certainly do provide a bunch of heat. I don't think it looks bad, but you know, this is at the price point, it's what you would expect. So we just got one long hallway here with the bedrooms off it, which is fairly common for these types of home we see on the west side. We've got just your vinyl flooring, which not a bad thing. You see in cheaper homes, you see in more expensive homes, honestly, sometimes too. It is really easy to maintain. I think this vinyl looks pretty good, so I have no issues with that. I always like a bathroom with the Jack and Jill accessibility for these bedrooms. I think it is a good use of space and allows a lot of people in your home to use a bathroom, and that's good. So I don't mind this kind of unique choice for the shower. Nice vanity. I haven't seen any red flags so far. Usually it's pretty easy to spot poor craftsmanship. You're gonna see damage, you're gonna see things that are not flush, you're gonna see dry paint spots. It usually isn't too hard to tell. And these bedrooms are decent size. The windows are new. Everything's really new in this home, so hopefully that would mean less deferred maintenance that you have to do for the first few years of the home. Laundry here with a tankless water heater, which is really nice. It's your backyard, which does have a decent amount of traffic noise because there's a pretty busy street here. This deck is completely new, which is nice because we see a lot of deteriorated decks in homes like this, and they can be expensive. And we've got a nice, level, fenced in backyard, which is great. You know, the carport has seen better days, but you could keep that or leave it. One thing I'll point out is this big old tree here. Now, people always ask me what they have to worry about in buying a home in the Atlanta area. I'd say the two main things are water intrusion and tree limbs falling on your home. We got a lot, you know, a city in a forest, right? Huge tree canopy. And it's an amazing thing about living here, but it's something that you really have to be aware of when purchasing a home. You know, luckily there's no really big branches overhanging your home. And this tree looks healthy from what I can tell, but arborist work is expensive and the damage that falling limbs can cause is massive, obviously. So you just have to be aware of what the tree situation is, especially when it's close to the home and especially when you have large branches overhanging. So, you know, look at the trees, look at the crawl space, and look how the water is flowing around the home if you can. So really good bathroom distribution here. We saw the Jack and Jill full for those two bedrooms, but we also have a full bathroom in the hallway for guests. And then your primary suite is in here. I mean, I love the ceiling height. I love the big windows, which have been replaced. This is a good amount of space. And this is a nicely renovated primary bathroom, separate shower and soaking tub. I like the look of this vanity, double vanity. I like the look of the finishes, and from everything I can see, the finishes looks like pretty good craftsmanship. So, you know, honestly, I think this is pretty good value at this price point. My only hang up is what's going on immediately outside the home. Long term, the location is fantastic, but it is a busy area being so close to a fast food place and being pretty close to a main street. But low 400s, not just move-in ready, but totally updated. And I like the finishes. You know, in terms of value, this might be the best one we've seen today. All right, so there you have it. Pretty good value on that one. And the location here is very promising for the future as well. But 3 home tours for you, all in the market right now in Atlanta, give you a sense of how far your dollar can go, give you a sense of what you're gonna get in different neighborhoods. Yeah, let me know what you liked about that. I'm gonna do more content like this, talking about listings and areas. I really wanna know what areas you wanna see highlighted, what kind of homes you wanna see highlighted. Let me know what you wanna see in these videos so that I can create better and better content for you. As always, I love it when my viewers become clients. You can call me, text me, email me, or use the link in the description below to book a Zoom call with me. No obligation, no cost. But this is what we do. We help people relocate here from out of state. So thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.